Hello, my name is Bruce Nichols, 646-345-9531. So, in my submission, to talk about my dead-end job, it's kind of frustrating that I'm working as a waiter, and I got the job to help my acting career, and initially it served its purposes, but at a certain point, you kind of think you're buying into just a 1 or 2 year option, and then as the years roll by, you kind of start realizing that it's taking over your life, and the means to an end overtakes everything, and the hours and everything else, and it pays the bills, it gets you by, but the excitement that you had when you were younger is not there, and it's very frustrating just doing the same thing and dealing with frustrating people, and the general public can be very demanding, and they can be very frustrating, especially when it's away from what you wanted to do. So I find that very frustrating. As far as insecurities as a man to provide for my wife and kids, that bleeds in from the previous aspect, where you can pay the bills, you can scrape by, but you look around you and you know there are things that you wish you could do, particularly for your wife and kids, that you're not able to do, and you look around and you see others who are providing better, and you look back to when you were younger and you think about your aspirations, artistically, spiritually, and monetarily, of which your current situation in the foreseeable future falls far short of, and that's and not only that, but you also can't see on the experience you've had a road ahead of you that will avail itself of greater opportunities, and that leaves you feeling very dull, and it's very hard not to commit the sin of despair in that situation. So it's a frustrating position to find oneself in. As far as my love for my kids, I mean it beats everything. I mean it's a cliche, but you see your kids, you see yourself, you see your wife, you see what initially attracted you, and why you fell in love in the first place, and you just see that manifest, and you harken back to your own childhood, and you just think, well, I do everything I could to just give them the chances that I had, and more the chances that I did not have, that you would hope to be able to do that. So yeah, you just want, but you always want more than you're able to give, because you want to give so much. So yeah, the absent relationship with my dad and how that affects me. I think when I think about my dad and myself, and the way we've become, he's become absent in my life to a large degree. We still maintain some contact, but nothing to what I wish it was. And that kind of casts a shadow over your relationships, and over your experience with the world, and even with your kids. You kind of you start realizing that the lack that is there, will your kids start feeling that towards you later on. So it's a big concern. You kind of and you feel that the bridges that seem not to be able to be built are very frustrating, because you endeavor to build bridges, but you don't seem to have the capacity or the trade to do the building. As far as the state of my marriage, yeah, it's like a lot of other things. I guess it's flatline. I mean, you think about the initial falling in love, and how that seemed to just be a natural occurrence, almost outside of yourself, and it just happened. And it happened so easily, and it was so such a wonderful fall, as it were. I mean, the expression is falling in love, and you do just seem to just, I guess it's like free falling from an aeroplane. It's just a trip that you're on that's just so enjoyable. And then suddenly you wake up one day and the thrill is gone. There's still love, admiration, but there's that ingredient that you initially felt of intoxication when you speak of love that no longer seems to be there. So that's certainly has flatlined the experience. And as far as anger and to God, and I think it's a quiet anger. I have a good relationship with my church, and that's good, and that's helped. But I think in the pragmatic day-to-day manifestation of God's presence, that's where the frustration is. That it's very hard to perceive the presence of the Holy Spirit sometimes, and when one prays about the little things as well as the big things, and not seeing them manifest, it's very challenging to persuade oneself that God's presence is still there, and that lack of a visceral response tends to lead to a not an immediate obvious anger, but it leads to a quiet disappointment and a quiet questioning, and then one turns with that one against oneself a little to say, well, am I failing? And then one has a debate about whether is God failing me, am I failing God, and why is the inherent relationship not as obviously present. So I think that should probably be enough. Thank you for taking your time. Bruce Nichols, 646-345-9531. Bye.